The Lion of Damascus, an overview of Bashar al-Assad's reign. Bashar al-Assad became president of Syria in 2000. He inherited a system built by his father, al-Assad. This system was based on tight control and suppression of dissent. For years, Bashar al-Assad maintained this grip on power. He presented himself as a modernizer, promising reforms. However, his regime was marked by authoritarianism and human rights abuses. Despite criticism from human rights groups, Assad remained a significant player on the world stage. His alliance with countries like Russia and Iran gave him a strategic advantage. The Syrian people, however, lived with the reality of his regime's brutality. Cracks in the foundation, the unraveling of Assad's grip on power. The Arab Spring, a series of pro-democracy uprisings, swept across the Middle East and North Africa in 2011. Syria, too, felt the wave of discontent. Protests erupted, demanding political freedom and economic opportunity. Initially peaceful, these demonstrations were met with a brutal crackdown by Assad's forces. This marked a turning point. The violence escalated, plunging Syria into a civil war. Armed opposition groups emerged, challenging Assad's rule. The conflict drew in regional and global powers, each with their own interests. The world reacts international response to the Syrian crisis. The international community watched with growing alarm as the situation in Syria deteriorated. Western powers condemned Assad's actions, calling for his removal from power. Sanctions were imposed on the Syrian government, aiming to cripple its ability to wage war on its own people. However, these efforts were often met with resistance from Russia and China, staunch allies of the Assad regime. Their veto power in the UN Security Council effectively blocked any meaningful intervention. This lack of a unified response allowed the conflict to fester, leading to further suffering and instability. Section 4. A nation divided, political shifts, and their impact on Syria's future. As the civil war dragged on, Syria became a patchwork of territories controlled by different factions. The Assad regime, with support from Russia and Iran, gradually regained control over much of the country. However, large swaths of territory remain outside of government hands. The conflict not only fractured the country geographically, but also deeply divided its people. Millions have been displaced, both internally and as refugees in neighboring countries. The social fabric of Syrian society has been torn apart, leaving deep wounds that will take generations to heal. Section 5. Echoes of Revolution, Implications for the Region and the World. The Syrian conflict serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of political oppression and the failure of the international community to effectively address complex crises. The war has had a ripple effect across the region, contributing to the rise of extremist groups and triggering one of the worst refugee crises in modern history. The future of Syria remains uncertain. The task of rebuilding the nation, both physically and socially, will be monumental. The international community must learn from past mistakes and work towards a just and lasting solution that addresses the root causes of the conflict and ensures a brighter future for the Syrian people.